I'm Laura Monica, and I started teaching group exercise classes in 1981. I believe that Jesus is the one who makes us fit, body, mind, and spirit. Your heart and your mind is your soul, so that's why I say body, soul, and spirit. And after a period of chronic illness, God healed me, and that's when I created HolyFit. It's a stretching system that's both gentle and powerful. After almost 2 decades of fitness ministry experience, I'm really grateful to be able to invite you into the community and friendship that I've found in HolyFit, which is the best part. I've trained in gyms, health clubs, churches, recreation districts, all kinds of venues. And I've also been a Sunday school teacher and homeschooled my kids. And now they're grown, and I'm the president of Fitness Pros for Christ. And what I do is I'm the liaison between HolyFit and the public. And that's why I'm here today to tell you a little bit about HolyFit. No, my family calls me Lala. I love to ride bikes with my husband, and I also love gardening. I would love to get to know you, so maybe sometime I will meet you at a HolyFit retreat. Anyway, right now you can get to know me a little bit, and I hope to know you someday. When I was a teenager, I was pretty lonely. I started looking for God, and my pastor told me about what he called the gospel in a nutshell, which is that Jesus died to forgive me of my sins past, present, and future, to bring me to God. And I recognize that as just what I had been looking for. And so I thank God for my pastor who told me about Jesus, and also for a Bible study at my high school where this really funny guy who had a guitar came in and sang about Jesus to us and told us about Jesus. Like everyone started getting saved. Like everyone. And we all started carrying our Bibles to school, and it was really, really cool. And it was now what they call the Jesus movement, and I was in it, and I want to see revival like that again. It was amazing. It was so cool. And so I've always taught group exercise as a way of bringing revival, restoration, renewal into my heart and the hearts of others too, because I want to share that, because I've experienced it and I want to share that with other people. And all the good intentions and all, I was mistakenly led into yoga, thinking that stretching could be done in a yoga environment and calling it yoga. But I learned that it would be really dishonest to my own heart to practice anything that's called yoga, that I can stretch and not do yoga. And here's why I say that. Because I began yoga certification and was really shocked to find out that in order to graduate, you had to do 50 hours of mantras and chanting in a dedicated yoga environment. And what I mean by that is dedicated to the promotion of the yoga philosophies, which are not what I believe. I called the Yoga Alliance and I said, really? Do I have to practice another philosophy that I don't believe in, another religion other than my own? Can't I substitute Bible and prayer for the 50 hours of mantras and chanting? And they said no. And they have every right to say no. If that is what they want to promote in yoga, that's their choice. That's not what I'm against. But what was very unfair to me was to require me to practice something that I didn't believe in order to get an industry certification. I felt that was unfair, and I still feel it's unfair to fitness professionals who are Christian to be forced to engage in religious practices that betray their faith in Jesus and go against Bible teachings. So I still feel that way, and I also feel yoga has every right to include their religious philosophies in with their practices, but there's no reason that Christians need to participate in it if they don't agree with it. Everybody would agree with that. Whether you're a Christian or not a Christian, you would agree that everyone needs to do something that resonates with their heart, and that they shouldn't be forced in their industry to do something that doesn't resonate with their heart, that they don't feel honest or real to be a part of. Well, I can't be a part of yoga, so I began developing HolyFit actually before I ever started in yoga, but I lost my confidence to stay the course, and I got confused. I thought I could call my stretching classes Christian yoga. So I started into certification, and right away I asked the guy, can I get certified in this as a Christian, or will I have to, betray my faith? And he said, oh no, lots of Christians are in this certification, and nothing in here would ever interfere with your faith. So I said, great. And even though, there was what I would call as a Christian an idol at the front of the room with flower offerings, a god made of stone, I overlooked it, trying to just be respectful to their faith. And I thought, well, I don't believe it. I can just participate anyway. But then they passed out prayer cards. And to me, prayer is definitely religious. So when they say there's no religion in yoga, I think that's not being honest, because prayer cards are definitely religious. So anyway, on the prayer card, we were supposed to chant what it said, and it was in Sanskrit, so I didn't understand it. And I asked them what it meant, and they said we were to chant that we gave our soul completely to Shiva. And I stood up and said, I can't do that. My soul belongs to Jesus. I'll never give it to Shiva. And the answer was kind of condescending. She said, well, Jesus, Shiva, same guy. And that was very dismissive, I felt, of my beliefs, because it's very clear that Shiva is the destroyer, and Jesus is different because he came to give life and give it abundantly. And actually, in the Bible, it says that Satan is the destroyer, that Satan comes to steal, kill, and destroy. But Jesus came to give life and give it abundantly. And so you can see how, as a Christian, I couldn't participate ever again. I left and never went back. And now it's like, you're supposed to go to yoga for stress management. Well, yoga makes me nervous. It's stressful for me if I were ever to participate in yoga as a Christ follower. And I know many other Christians feel that way. They just kind of put up with it. But, why do we have to? Why do we have to go into a room with what we consider to be idols at the front of the room? I can't. And I think, the Holy Spirit within me was so grieved. I literally could not stand it to be in the room, literally. And I cannot be in the presence of idols. I can't be in the presence of people practicing religious beliefs that I know to be false, because I'm grieved for them. It grieves my heart to see people being led into a faith in wood and stone and things that don't have any power to save them. And I don't believe in yoga teachings like samadhi, kundalini, karma, chakras, spirit channeling, reincarnations. I hope you understand that these things are against the very words of Jesus. Jesus says it is appointed to us to die only once, and after that comes judgment. So Jesus said that reincarnation isn't true. Jesus also said, I am the way, the truth, and the life, and no one comes to the Father but by me. And I believe that and have experienced coming to God through Jesus. And yoga teaches many paths to God, and that's in direct conflict with what Jesus said. He said he was the only way, and that's not being intolerant, because he was perfect. He was the most tolerant, loving, perfect person without sin who ever walked on the earth, and he gave his life for the sins of everyone in the world. So he was the most loving person, and he said he's the only way, and I believe it. And I feel bad when people try to find other ways to God that will not ever work for them. So Jesus died in our place to give us his righteousness instead of our own, and no amount of mantras or chanting or harsh treatment of the body will ever make us righteous to a holy God. Only the blood of his Son, Jesus Christ, will make us holy. And there's still some discriminations against Christians in the fitness industry. as a professional, it's very hard for us to teach stretching classes and not call it yoga, because yoga has instant fame. There's not a lot of money potential. There's not a lot of marketability in stretching classes that are not called yoga. So I know a lot of Christians depend on the marketability of the word yoga to sell their stretching classes, but regardless, I won't do it, because even though it's an uphill climb for the public to accept our stretching system called HolyFit that is completely unaffiliated with yoga, I will pursue that anyway and hope to bring in other people so that we can influence the fitness industry. That's actually where you can help too, to let people know about HolyFit. I was in church, and it was a huge church, a huge Baptist church, and I looked down at the Bible and it said, "Is anyone sick? Let him call out for the elders, let them anoint them with oil, and the prayer offered in faith will heal the sick." And I was really sick. I was chronically ill when I was a young woman, before I invented HolyFit. The reason I invented HolyFit was because of my chronic illness and clinical depression. But I just believed those words. And the next Sunday, the pastor said, we don't normally do this in this church, but I really feel called by the Holy Spirit to have a healing service. And I was the first one there, let me tell you, the next Sunday. And when I walked in, I felt like a warm blanket around me. And I'm like, wow, this would be good enough even without the healing. I love the presence of God. I love the presence of Jesus so much. But and then like water started pouring out of my eyes, like not tears or sobs, but like just my body's response to the powerful presence of the Holy Spirit. That's all I can say. And so anyway, when it was my turn, I went up and the pastor prayed for me, and he said something I'll never forget. He said, "I'm going to pray that Jesus heals you, but I want you to know that if you get healed, it's nothing to do with me, that Jesus does the healing." So I've never forgot that, and I did. I started to get better, and I started teaching the stretching class right there at that church. And that was the beginning of HolyFit.